In a world where superheroes are increasingly violent, it's nice to see that they can be wholesome again. Sometimes what we need is a show about a superpowered family coming together again to overcome the odds. A show that reminds us that we can feel all warm and cozy inside. Or not. Welcome back to The Binger, everyone. The Umbrella Academy exploded onto Netflix this year to almost universal acclaim. It gained an instant fan base who blew through the entire season in under a week. This, of course, left a void. It's going to be a long wait until we get to see the Hargreaves family again. Fans have been speculating from one corner of the internet to the other about what Season 2 would be about. We've got 10 theories for you here that just might crack into some mystery surrounding the next season. Here are Umbrella Academy ending theories that make so much sense for Season 2. There is one mystery the series didn't go into that has left fans reeling. The show does dig pretty deeply into the lives of most of the Academy members, but one gets noticeably left out. Ben, or Number 6, is absent for most of the series. He passed away off-screen in some unknown way. We're left to speculate that it happened during a mission of some kind, but the show doesn't elaborate. It almost seemed as though his character's story was going to be ignored altogether. Then, the finale throws a big twist our way. Right when it looks like our heroes are out of luck, Klaus seemingly resurrects Ben. He then uses his sort of Cthulhu powers to wipe the Temps Commission soldiers out. At the end, he's standing shoulder to shoulder with his family members and teammates. We're unclear if he's fully resurrected or if he's still a ghost. Season 2 will likely answer this question for us. We got lots of flashbacks for the other team members, so next season we should get one for Ben. It'll be interesting to find out just what happened to him and what his afterlife has been like as a ghost. Has he been haunting Klaus the whole time, or is that a recent development? Regardless of what they do, fans are clamoring for more Ben. He's basically the new Barbara from Stranger Things. Hashtag justice for Ben. In any other series, the end of the world would probably be the primary focus. This series is anything but normal, though. Most of the conflict in the season, aside from the family strife, came from the villainous Temps Commission. This evil organization seems strangely motivated to keep the end of the world on track. It's unclear if they're just protecting the space-time continuum or if they have ulterior motives. It only makes sense for the second season to dive into their origins a bit more. The organization would be much more effective as the antagonistic presence if we knew what motivated them. We also don't really have a lot of information about where exactly they are located. They're probably outside the time stream somehow, but we're not sure who, if anyone, is behind Kate Walsh's The Handler. For the kind of tech they use, it stands to reason that they could be from the future. Maybe they're from the remade world after the apocalypse. That would explain why they're so invested in it going as planned. Season 2 will probably shed light on all of our questions. Also, did anyone else think the Commission was basically an evil time bureau from Legends of Tomorrow? Umbrella Academy vs. Legends would be the coolest crossover ever. They're definitely both the zaniest comic book TV shows out there. Well, maybe aside from Doom Patrol. It's kinda hard to beat evil pocket universe donkeys as far as weirdness goes. The event that sparks the series is the passing of the Umbrella Academy patriarch Reginald Hargreaves. The character is by far the most mysterious in the show. Why did he assemble the Academy? How did he know about the apocalypse? Why is he so into monocles? Since the show is journeying more through time, it's possible we could meet Hargreaves at an earlier date again. Perhaps the Academy will pave the way for their own existence in the past. Some fans even think that Number 5 becomes Reginald when he grows up. We've already seen a version of future Number 5, so that seems unlikely. On this show, though, anything is possible. If anything, we might get to see him experiment on Pogo. To be honest, aren't we all more interested in seeing more Pogo? R.I.P. One of the weirdest aspects on the series was the vaguely incestuous relationship bubbling between Luthor and Alison. They shared a kiss, but what with this show being ridiculous, that kiss got erased from time. They'll probably come back around to this love story later on. There are several problems the series will have to deal with. For one, Luthor has the body of a gorilla. Alison also has a family of her own that she seems eager to get back to. Their biggest obstacle is that they're both painfully awkward together. Superpowers can't fix awkward. Just ask Iron Fist. Sidebar, did you recognize Luthor but not realize where from? He's Dickon Tarley from Game of Thrones. For a show called The Umbrella Academy, we don't really see a lot of the Academy's heyday. We see a few action-packed missions with our cute little superheroes, but that's about it. But presumably, the game went out on all sorts of adventures that we'd love to see. The upbringing story is so interesting that it could almost be a spin-off series by itself. They've already got the younger versions of the team cast, so why not? Aidan Gallagher, who plays number 5, would get double duty, but that's alright, he can teleport. Anyways, it's easy to think that the team probably stacked up their fair share of enemies over the years. While we didn't see any of their superpowered legacy foes in Season 1, maybe we'll see some in Season 2. What would be the opposition to the Umbrella Academy? The Kane Society? The Raincoat Community? The Mittens Group? All very frightening. Most of the team seems pretty skilled with their powers. Diego is pretty great with those knives. Luthor is also a very powerful combatant. Klaus, on the other hand, seems more cursed with his than anything else. His ghost-talking powers don't start coming in handy until midway through the series. While he uses them to freak out Hazel and Cha-Cha, they still don't seem all that useful. All that changes when the ghost of Reginald Hargreaves informs him that he isn't using his powers to near their full potential. Klaus was terribly traumatized by his father, locking him in a crypt. It's almost like he watched that one scene from The Sixth Sense and the light bulb went off. Since then, he's been repressing his powers using various drugs. By the end of the season, he's gotten fully clean, then we finally get to see what he's capable of. He manages to kind of resurrect Ben, and there's no telling what the ceiling is on these powers. Can he bring anyone back from the dead? Can he travel back and forth between this world and the next, which for some reason is a barbershop? I mean, why not? Is he immortal? The man nearly bites it twice in the season, but still keeps rolling. As long as we get more Klaus, it will be amazing. The internet absolutely fell in love with him, and that had nothing to do with the family's disdain of him. Though that's not surprising. He was definitely the most meme-worthy. Vanya's story takes the biggest right turn of anyone's in the first season. In retrospect, we should have seen that coming. Why would they have cast Ellen friggin' Page to be a sibling with no powers? Only for her to make Magneto look harmless in comparison, obviously. Her reveal as the most powerful member of the Academy was quite the excellent slow burn. It was also very surprising to see her literally destroy the world. And you thought your childhood recitals were awkward. The show kinda leaves Vanya's ultimate fate in the air. She ends the season as pretty much a supervillain, but that's a far cry from the introverted girl in the other episodes. So which of these characters is gonna wake up in Season 2? Will we see the weird-eyed white violin or the quiet Vanya? The team also has quite the problem on their hands. Do they try to euthanize Vanya to prevent the apocalypse, or will they try to bring her back? It's likely that Vanya wouldn't like the idea of destroying the world, so maybe she'll come back around. Knowing the Hargreaves, they will probably have all sorts of debate about which one to go with. Luthor seems very much Team End Her, while Diego and Alison are probably going to be Team Reformation. It's quite possible that Klaus still doesn't exactly know what's going on. If there was a recap for next season, can we have Klaus tell it like Lewis from Ant-Man? It seemed as though he was paying attention about like 20% of the time. Diego had a pretty fantastic character arc this season. At the beginning of the show, he's straight up Batmaning his way across rooftops, and a cop named Patch is even doing her best Commissioner Gordon, though they were a lot closer than Batman and Gordon ever were. You know, unless you read a lot of fanfiction, which I don't. After Patch was taken out, Diego went pretty far off the deep end. For the second half of the season, he goes off on a crusade of revenge. He then basically pulls a Black Panther from Civil War and decides that killing Cha-Cha wouldn't be what Patch would have wanted, with the help of number 5, of course. That being said, it's unlikely that Diego has given up on Patch altogether. Now that the team is whole and time traveling, it's likely that he'll want to save her. If they don't pull a Back to the Future 2 where Diego's trying to save Patch, he'd run around in a Season 1 episode trying to avoid his past family while number 5 is trying to stop him, that's just gold right there. You're welcome. Write that down. Assassin team Hazel and Cha-Cha ended up being the surprise scene stealers of the series. The two frenemies had quite a wild ride through the season. They started off as partners who were practically joined at the hip. They had assassinated their way across history, and it looked like they had a great time of it. Then, Hazel fell in love with a sweet donut lady named Agnes, and it all went downhill. They went on to have a couple skirmishes. It looked like they had patched things up in the finale, though. They got rehired by the Commission and were working together against the Academy again. Hazel then betrayed Cha-Cha once more and left her to the apocalypse. He then reunited with Agnes and took her out of time. While things looked pretty bleak for Cha-Cha, don't count her out just yet. It's very possible that the Commission will pluck her out just in time. If she is saved, it's likely she'll be pretty steamed at her former partner. Count on Cha-Cha and Hazel fighting again in Season 2. No matter who wins, we just hope that Agnes lives. That, or she's revealed to be a secret assassin too. She was strangely okay with Hazel being a time-hopping maniac, so Speaking of Hazel and murderers, did you know that Cameron Britton was Edmund Kemper from Mindhunter? The man is really good at playing dead-eyed killers. Don't know what that says about him. The series opens with 43 women giving birth on the same day without being pregnant. Some of these kids went on to become the Umbrella Academy we all know and love, but we have no idea what happened to the others, so maybe they'll pop up next year too. What's more interesting is why this crazy event happens in the first place. No reason is given in the series, it just kinda keeps moving and doesn't so much as mention it again. It's possible that Reginald Hargreaves performed an experiment of some kind that made it happen. They seem to be the only superpowered people in the world, and Reginald knew to look for them. It seems right up his alley to perform an experiment on so many unsuspecting people. The man locked up 2 of his adopted children and never thought twice about it. It also sounds like something Five would do. Maybe he uses some kind of time travel hijinks to artificially create himself and his brothers and sisters. The Commission doesn't seem too concerned with the Academy itself, so it's doubtful they had anything to do with it. Though they do exist outside of time, so maybe they had a hand in it without knowing. It'll also be interesting to see if any of the Hargreaves try to hunt down their actual families. If so, Martin Short should definitely play Klaus's uncle. The resemblance is uncanny. So, there are 10 theories about what might happen in Season 2. Of course, that's assuming that Netflix doesn't go back on their word and cancel it. They wouldn't do that though. Why would they cancel a hit show that everyone loves? Do you have any great Umbrella Academy theories? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more awesome stuff from The Binger. Thanks for watching.